All right, we are live here with another episode of the Flight Chief's Office with my man
What up, what
Stu
up?
and P. What's
So,
going on, y'all? What y'all been up to?
just staying out the way, man.
Surviving, right?
Trying to
Just
survive.
trying to make it.
Right. So we jumping in here. We know it's been a little minute since we came live. Hopefully, get some views up in here as soon as we can. Let me put it out there a little bit. We got in here. Put it out there a little bit. We got in here. Y'all hear echo?
Yeah.
That was me. I was
Okay.
getting a link.
Hey, Ping, where you at? Where you
Mm,
centering? You in Jersey? Is it raining yet?
Yeah, it rained a little bit. We didn't catch at least my part of Jersey didn't catch the storm like that.
Yeah, we've been tracking it. We had a about to hit New York.
We had a little bit down. I guess all those tropical storms down in the Caribbean and everywhere, stirring up, some weather up this way. Let me see. Let me see. Mm. All right, we're getting some viewers in here. Welcome everybody. Lisa says she's getting some rain up there in New Hampshire. New Hampshire? When you moved to New Hampshire? Is that where you always been? I didn't even know who New Hampshire was still existed. And who moved to New Hampshire? But everything has been good. So, Pete, I heard your kids are doing virtual school.
Now, Stu,
You Stu,
Stu
you're
got his.
doing virtual school.
Yeah, so I got my son. I got my son doing it the first 9 weeks, just because I'm out here in Fort Worth, man. And
Mhm.
everything's so mixed up, man. Like I don't mind the government, to be honest with you, but
Right.
governor and the schools, they having it out, man. So we're gonna hold out these next 9 weeks. Plus, I mean, it was a good thing because I think 1,000 teachers and students called it last week,
Yeah.
and
I heard that.
it was just 3 days, so 72 hours, and over a
What
thousand people are quarantined.
what it didn't say? It didn't say 1,000 people caught it. It said 1,000 quarantine.
Quarantine, yeah. So they were closed or exposed or whatever.
Lisa said she sent her kids to school. She ain't having it. She said she done with the quarantine, the virtual school.
Oh,
She
they ain't
said
starting to September the 7th. Y'all
they
starting
got to
late.
go. Well, up here in the
Mine went
north,
back on
up here in the
August
north,
the,
up in the northeast. I don't
yeah.
know if it's the same in New Hampshire. Here in Jersey, they normally start the week after Labor Day.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
y'all
they
August schools be doing too much.
yeah. My daughter started back on August the 5th.
What time they get
Jeez.
out? When they get out?
I don't even know. Don't ask me.
August the 5th. That
Yeah.
lost a whole month of the summer.
Right. A whole month.
A
They
whole.
get back in there early.
I ain't even start spending time with the kids till August 5th.
Right. For real. But they started back, and did they is that was the option that the school gave Stu, that to either do the first 9 weeks or whatever?
Yeah. So because everybody, well, they're basing it off the fact that there ain't no ICU beds and stuff like that, and that's what I'm going off of. I'm going off of the fact that they don't have any ICU beds. The fact that
Mhm.
this is typically, even without COVID, this is typically flu and cold and RSV season for the
Right,
kids.
right,
Yeah,
right.
So this
yeah.
is typically the time they kind of get sick. So I was like that with COVID because you never know because anything is COVID now. If you catch a cold, they're gonna say it's COVID now. But being at just the
Yep.
resources, the lack of beds, the way that everybody's like, we don't care no more. I still care. So
Right.
and then my wife's a pediatric nurse and she has high risk patients. So
Mm,
if he gets sick and then she gets sick, then she got to stay home, and it's just a. So I'm just gonna ride out the first 9 weeks, and I mean I'm working from home anyway, so
right.
Yep.
I'd rather do the first 9 weeks with him anyway. So and
Lisa
then
said,
virtual, man. The good thing about virtual is it finally gave me an opportunity to see what he's really
what the
doing in
teacher.
school and what the teachers are kind of the interaction with him.
Right. What do you think
So,
about it so far?
well, when I put him in the school, because we stay like the school that we stay in, like the school he go to is like 200 yards behind us. So he's staying like a neighborhood school. And when we first got here and I put him in school, man, the teacher, it didn't feel like the teacher kind of vibed with him. Man. It seemed like the
Mm.
teacher separated him. Like it was him and another black kid that they kind of separated him, and he was like, they were trouble kids because they would like to talk and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So then, and that was like the first year we was here. Then the next year, COVID hit, and I got a chance to be in class with him. So most of the kids were just like disrupting the class. So it made me
Right.
think back the year before. Why was my son and this other kid labeled
Mm,
as like the disruptors? And then Cali, he was never like a disruptive kid. So it kind of feels like, and I kind of feels like in school, sometimes certain kids get singled out,
Yeah.
or boys anyway. So the fact that I get to peek in and see how they treat them, it makes me feel a little more comfortable.
right.
Cool. Lisa said three of her kids are vaccinated. What y'all think about what y'all think about the vaccination period? And what do you think about kids getting vaccinated?
Well, me, I ain't gonna say online if I'm vaccinated or not, but I'm gonna ride this vaccination thing out, man. I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see what comes of it, man.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, because if at any other time you would have said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna give you this experimental thing and see what happens," meaning like you don't know what's gonna happen, kind of thing.
Right.
But I mean, now we're just kind of rolling with it because we're kind of rolling with it now because we're scared. So they made us
Yeah.
scared. So now we're like, all right, give it to me. And then even like a year ago, had you been like, hey, they're gonna give you a booster right after that, you would have been like, no, they not. I'm not taking that. And then 8 months later, they rolling out a booster, and because
Right.
we still live in fear, we're just like, all right, cool. So what's left? What's gonna happen after this? Where we're gonna be like, all right, cool. Just make the fear go away. Okay, cool. As long as I feel better about it, you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm gonna ride it out, man. I'm gonna ride it out. Keep my
I
guns
feel
loaded.
like that.
If you
It,
guys
it,
turn into zombies, then we'll see what happens.
hey, well, you know what to do, man. One to the head. Just put me on my misery. But
I mean, there's so many, it's so much information out there, though.
what you mean? Information or what?
Well, it's all the opposing. When it started off with the vaccines, they're experimental. They were started
Yep.
talking about it goes into your RNA and does this and does that. Or it just seems like you can. It seems different from other vaccines. It seems to be a little bit of extra something on it. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I can't prove that it is. A lot of people say, well, most of the people, a lot of people that, if they started off, it's supposed to prevent somebody. People here at work are kind of, I'm holding off on getting it. You know what I'm saying? Like the same, I'm holding off on getting it. But some, a elderly woman here, she went out and got it. As early as she got diabetes. She got other factors that okay, I can understand why you might go out and be one of the first in line to get the vaccine. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can understand that. No harm, no foul. I'm not mad at you for getting it, but don't judge me. Just because I don't get it doesn't mean I'm an anti-vaxxer. It doesn't mean anything other. No, it's no extra stuff on it. I just have the right to choose when I get the vaccine and when I don't. And it's
Right.
my business of when I get the vaccine and when I don't. Don't judge me. I'm not going to judge you for going out to get it. don't judge me for not being one of the first ones in line to get it. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's nothing different. That's how I am about most things that are in my life. I still have an iPhone 8 Plus. I'm not going out to get the 11 the first day out. I'm not going out to get the 12 the first day out. I don't do that. That's not how I function, you know?
Your iPhone 8 still work.
Yeah, it still works. You know what I'm saying? It's still kicking it. You know what I'm saying? It's
You know,
still on point.
you know
You
they
know,
be
it might
sending them
lag a little
bugs.
bit.
You know they be sending them bugs to slow
Yeah,
you
they do.
down.
Yeah.
You
My
know?
thing is, I ain't a scientist, man, so I don't really know. I don't know the details of none of this stuff. But from my understanding, like a vaccine is just your body is already naturally built to fight stuff. So a vaccine just kind of gives you a little bit of whatever you're trying to fight against, so your body can build up a natural defense to it.
Well,
I've
I
never
don't think
seen anything.
they said
I,
this one isn't doing that.
well, I've never seen it where they give you something that kind of plugs into your kind of DNA like this.
Right.
Right.
Because Corona's not a new strain. I mean, I don't
Well,
know. It's
it's
not
not
a
a
new
new
strain.
it's not a new virus. It's a new strand that so like Corona's been around, but apparently this
Corona's
strand
been
is
around.
Right.
right.
But what is causing it to all of a sudden mutate and transform and do all the stuff that it's doing?
It's
I
all
mean, I know.
Stu's fault.
Yeah,
It
probably
might be
so.
my fault, man.
Probably
It
so.
might
Because
be.
what year did you retire, Stu?
I retired in 2017. You know what's crazy? And I cannot find this post, man. I posted something. I made a post in 2019 when I first, because we track it at work, when I first
Yeah,
saw the first cases in China. And it said, hey, they got it from a bat. You remember that story that was like they got it
yeah,
from a
I
bat kind of
remember that.
thing? And I made a post like, you know, we caught this. I was like, this might be the first real pandemic of the world. And I said it jokingly, not thinking like this is some real stuff. Because there's constant. If you look up, man, you can look on the internet and see that there's constant like you know, little break like the day flu is outbreak in this country. There's always outbreaks. But I don't know, man. This thing is so big, man. And like you were saying, we hear stuff. We only hear one side though. That's a crazy thing. The
Right.
only side
Yeah,
is like to get it. When anybody says, "Hey, don't get it because of this," like it's this video going around from some doctor came out like a couple days ago, and it's been making his rounds. And he kind of like broke down some of the things. I mean, I don't really know verbatim
Right.
what he said, so I can't repeat it. But he was saying some things that made me kind of nervous. Like, oh snap, this ain't like I don't know, man. I just
Right.
don't know. I don't even
Right.
know.
I I get a little concerned with the way it's pushed out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like if I choose to get it, cool. If I don't choose to get it, cool.
Right.
Right. But the way it's being pushed out, right, especially given the fact that it's not FDA approved. It's just under what emergency use authorization, right? But you have all these companies and organizations that are giving incentives and bonuses
Mhm.
to encourage that concerns me a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It makes me like what's really going on if based on the way it's getting pushed.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
right.
All right,
And
because at this point, because even with the science, I'm sorry, not that I'm gonna refute the science you have because I'm not a scientist, but I have a hard time believing that in this short period of time you have enough data to tell me that your numbers are solid.
well,
Right.
You
and I'm looking at that, man. I look at it, and I only look. I don't get online and like search for this stuff. I look at it because I have to. Like literally, the flu numbers went to almost nothing last year.
the what?
The flu numbers, like nobody
Right,
caught flu last year.
but that's because they're not tracking it though.
Well, that's because the PCR test that they use for COVID, if it picks up flu,
It
they
picks
say
up.
COVID. If you notice the threshold for the PCR test that they use to test it, they're saying they might not even use the PCR test anymore because if you had flu and they tested you for COVID last year, then they would say, "Hey, you got COVID,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's just
And
all.
a lot of things was getting caught up as COVID. I heard like, oh, these two girls got in a fight, and the girl dies of COVID. You read the headline, girl dies of COVID. You read the article, oh, two girls in the parking lot got in a fight. One got shot. Oh, she died of COVID. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, these doctors don't even be wanting to test people. They be like, "You got this, you got this." Nah, we don't need to test you.
Yeah, and that was another thing, man. Like if you had symptoms, we just assume, like even like last year, if you called our office and said, "Hey, I'm showing these symptoms," we would say, "Go ahead and quarantine," and
Right.
then we would count you as a COVID thing. But again, I don't know. I'm one of those people. I think it is real. I think it is real. I
I
stay
think it's
out the
real
way.
too. I
Right.
just don't.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
just one of those people who believes that sometimes you can't protect us against everything.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Is right because I'm sure there's plenty of people who've been vaccinated that got COVID. There's plenty of people who wear masks that got COVID. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people who've been trying to isolate and stay home that got COVID.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, did you either you feel like you caught it during the early on last year, beginning of 2020, had COVID?
I
Have
had it
any
in
of you had
December.
COVID?
I had it in December.
I got it. I can't remember what month it was, but yeah, I took a
It,
flight to Cali. I mean, mine. I was tired for a day, maybe a day and a half. You know, lost taste, lost smell, or whatever. But then after that, I was fine. You know, it wasn't really didn't really keep me down and out to the point of like the worst thing that I ever felt. It didn't do that to me, but I did test positive, and I had it for that little period of time.
no, it put me down for a little bit. I was down for like 2 weeks. It
Yeah.
wasn't like it wasn't like the worst
Hmm.
sickness I ever had, but I was tired.
Yeah.
Like the level of exhaustion was massive.
And I have a
Like
friend
I remember
who
trying to
who
walk.
had it and never has, to this day the breathing is different than before they had it, or they have asthma or some type of symptoms from having it. Hold on, this is
Yeah,
it.
let's hear it. Oh, he muted us. He didn't want
Yeah. Yeah.
to.
Because we started tracking it at work in November 2019, man. I remember I ordered like masks from Amazon like February 2020. So I started like
Mm,
wearing masks early. I started
yeah,
like before they locked us down. I started because I kind of seen it coming because I kind of seen other countries doing it.
yeah.
So, but I mean, I've kind of like locked myself down the past. But I'm like that anyway, man. I'm an introvert anyway.
Yeah.
I kind of stay in the house and stay out the way anyway. So I mean, I think it's real, man. I think it's real. I'm more scared of what it's doing to people, man. I'm more scared of how it's separated us.
Yeah.
Where you got like vaccinated versus unvaccinated, like just
That and the
everything.
economy.
The economy, like the like a couple what was it, a couple weeks ago, they said the biggest threat to America was like they outlined people, and it was like almost like Trump supporters, where it was like if you're like super patriotic and you're this, you're the biggest threat to America. And I look at that and I'm like, oh man, we're being separated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like red team, blue team kind of thing.
Right, right, right.
So,
Well, I
and
mean, but it's been like that for a while. It's just right. The COVID and everything has right polarized it even more.
I believe that. I mean, I think really when I look back at it, I feel like the separation. I mean, there's always been there underlying, but it's kind of like gradual and small effects. But I'll even go back as far as I will say when Obama got elected. I feel well, not even in like I think when Bush was in office. I will go as far back as when Bush was in office and how toward the end of his term, you had he's going to war. You got people that's for it, you got people that's against it, and that just starts the you know, little small busy fuss talk amongst the people. And then right after that, so that kind of like, okay, which side are you on? You're gonna be for Bush, against Bush, whatever. Then after that, then right after that you elect Obama. Okay, wow, now that's gonna put a little bit more in it. You know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna see, okay, we got these people over here who we already know they're gonna go this way, and we got these people who we're gonna people who gonna not vote for him because they're black. We got people who gonna vote for him because he's black. We got people who gonna do this and do that. Okay, so he runs his term, he does some few good things or whatever, and then after that, you bring in Trump. You know what I'm saying? So he really
Got who was
going
next?
icing on the cake and really like, say you either gonna be this or this. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. He's just a face of the mechanism, the face of the machine at that time. You know. And so now, then after him, you bring in, okay, we're gonna dumb it back down. And then during that period of time or after him, okay, so now all of that has happened already. So then we do the whole Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, to get the race stuff going, and then we get the rebel flag stuff going, and then we get the Antifa stuff going, and then we get all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We shoot up a people over here. So we got your gun rights people and you take the guns away people. We got the Trump people and we got the other people. We got the Black Lives Matter. We got the Antifa, so everybody, and then kind of like, okay, you got everybody has generally, Republicans versus Democrats, liberals, whatever. Everybody is kind of picks and choose what side they're supposed to stand on or where they go. Some people fall in the middle. Okay, now then you bring in the vaccine. It's really it's either gonna get it or you're not. Or you're gonna be this or you're gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's still kind of like, especially in the black community, they keep harping on how many of us in the minority community are not, they trying to push it to us. Like I'm saying, like I was kind of disappointed when I saw Juvenile on there with like his number one hit song talking about backs that ass up. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you?
What? I did not see this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm about to look it up right now.
Right. And then like you was talking about how it gets pushed and how it gets put out there. You know what I'm saying? So you take this number one hit song, ain't nothing else, like community care, all the things that we could care about in the world, everything, all the problems with America, everything else that we could possibly be caring about. You ain't really took that amount of effort to, to care. Not even. You know what I'm saying? You got, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of if it's a good shoot, a bad shoot, or whatever it might be, this dude, Ahmaud Arbery, gets shot down in the street. It's kind of like quiet crickets. Oh, they got to quit it. They got it. You know what I'm saying? It's all just caring, whether be right or wrong, just showing some type of government concern, some type of whatever it is. Oh, y'all just fight amongst yourselves. We ain't really got nothing to say about that. We ain't really got nothing to say about that. I don't really know. I don't really know what to do. What we gonna do? I don't really know. But now you got get the vaccine, every vaccine, all over the place. Do you got it or you don't got it? Like what the why? You got even I heard like there's people who Airbnb people even come down to rent an Airbnb. There's people who you can't rent if you want to go on a trip. You're not gonna rent my Airbnb if you do got a vaccine. There's other people you're not gonna rent it if you don't. So it's coming to that. I mean, and I heard like in Germany, even some grocery stores, you got to have that Vax card before you can go shop there. Traveling is going to be like that, or even airlines are charging.
I think they're already doing that.
$180 extra if you're non-vaccinated.
What?
Yeah. So that's how then like how, unfortunately, people who got money capitalize off of disaster, off of fear, and off of all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, fear is a very lucrative industry,
right?
Yeah? You know what I mean? I mean, if you really think about it, a lot of the things that we do, I mean, the three of us exist because of people's fears. You know what I'm saying? Like our careers in the military, right? The defense budget is the largest budget the government has. But nobody really bothers it.
Right.
Everybody wants to feel safe, even though reality is security is an illusion. for the most part.
Right.
I think about home security systems, right? Like, how safe are you
Right.
because you put an alarm? Right? The moment that alarm goes off, you still got about 15-20 minutes before anybody show up.
Right. And that
You know?
depends on how close you live to whoever's going to respond.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I got 15, 20 minutes to set the crime scene.
there you go.
So
There you go.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. It's just I think the COVID thing is on top of everything. The big because the world is shifting now, man. Like I'm seeing the shift happen, and it's crazy. And the thing that troubles me the most is people have voices that don't have context of how this thing really works.
yeah,
Like right now with the Afghanistan thing, we have American people still not at the airport, right? Now, this is something that would have never, you can never fathom that because of who we are. Like, I think people, if you don't have any context of what America really is, it's like we're the most violent bully in the room. No matter what we
yeah,
say about like how, you know, you would think how civilized we are, but we're the most violent bully in the room,
yeah.
which is why nobody ever tests us. Well, now we've shown that we're not the most violent bully in the room anymore. If there would have been a time that you wouldn't dare say, "Oh, I'm gonna these Americans," like there would have never been a time where you would dare do that. Like where we would have that many people that vulnerable, and we're not doing anything about. Like the Secretary of Defense said 2 days ago, we don't have the resources to go get them. That's crazy.
That
We
is
don't have the
crazy.
resources to go get 10,000 Americans like stuck in an area. That is crazy because like Obama, we love Obama. Obama was cool as hell, man. He was the coolest dude in the room. Obama had the most drone kills. The world
Yeah.
didn't test Obama. Just like with the Trump thing when he droned that general,
Yeah,
everybody like we had Americans protested that he droned that general. They didn't know that the embassy had been attacked. So the U.S. embassy attacked. One of the most feared generals in the world gets droned a couple days later. Nobody else tested us. Now we have Americans stuck out, and we just said we can't go get them. We're America. I wouldn't be surprised, and we could timestamp this. I would not be surprised if China's in Taiwan in the next 30 days. Nobody fears us anymore. The world is shifting. And then we have all these people, all these kids, all these young adults that have no context that's been living in a safety bubble of America where I
yeah,
have internet and Starbucks and everything at the end of my fingertips. They don't understand how violent the world is outside Americans' borders. And they're about to see. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like right now, yesterday they said ISIS is outside the airport, planning attacks as we speak. They're about to see something that they probably don't recognize because you got to think about 9/11 was what 20 years ago. A lot of these kids wasn't even born that have the right to vote and
yeah.
that are on social media talking about things that really don't matter. Like, and I was hoping I would never see this part.
Right.
I would never see this part where all the shit we did over the years, like Pete, you was saying earlier, maybe we ain't on the right side. And I was hoping I wouldn't be here to see when the energy shifts to the people that
Right.
are not on the right side.
When the wool is pulled off the eyes, really, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how
Yeah.
I feel. I feel like, okay, before internet, before everything, you know what I'm saying? We look and we see how other countries, they fed them propaganda, but the fact that we are being fed propaganda the whole time kind of blows over most Americans' head. You know what I'm saying? It just blows right over that you're being also fed propaganda. You see, you know, the war and how we're dropping bombs and how we're doing this and how we're doing that, but and you're like, oh yeah, victory. When you're winning, you just, that's all you're concerned about. I'm ahead. You're not really concerned about how other people, how the loser feels about it. Oh, you lost, you cry, all right, come back and fight another day, maybe you're gonna lose again. That's the mentality that we've been able to uphold and portray and put out there. But now with the internet, being, you know if you can go on Snapchat, open up a map and look into any country and see what they're doing and seeing whatever. Of course, people are going to be doing most of the good stuff, but whatever. But you can see other people have a hunger. You know what I'm saying? Like Americans think they full, but other people are hungry. You know what I'm saying? They want to, or other people are going to be able to see what you're looking at. You know that most Americans might look, oh, that's not in my neighborhood, that's not in my house. I don't live like that, so that's the American mentality. It ain't happening to me. So yeah, I care about it, you know, but it's not happening to me. But other people can see that weakness. You know what I'm saying? They can see like, oh, you ain't even paying attention. You slipping. You think you comfortable. You comfortable. Stay comfortable. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Even that comes in. I feel like there was you know, the like back from the Cold War. I don't know what the quote was or who they said it was, but the mentality from either Germany or Russia was how do you, you know, how do you break down a country? How do you get a whole, you know what I'm saying? You just you brainwash them so much to where the truth is put in front of them, they don't even believe it. You distract them so much to where, you know, have them doing TikTok dances and this and that and distract them and thinking, oh, this is what it is. This is life. All the while you building your plan and coming, you know, you can just slip right in, boom, hit them out of nowhere, and they don't know what to do. There's the country is so divided that even trying to come together, you know, it might pull you together a little bit, but you just have no real sense of organization, no real sense of pride in the country anymore. Because back then, even though it was propaganda, people had a sense of pride in the country. They had a pride in America. America had a certain pride about it. But now that barely exists. It's pretty much America is like every man for himself. I got mine, you get yours type of mentality. And that you know, a house is always been said, it's cliche, but a house divided against itself is gonna fall, you know, and that's just, you know.
like like the census just came out, and I seen celebrities like, oh, the Caucasian population went down from 72% to 67%. What they didn't say is African Americans went from 16% to 13%. And with abortion, with violence, with sickness, that's bound to decrease over the next 10 years. We're not paying it. Like I don't know if y'all seen it, but the new thing this week was paying crackheads to climb milk crates.
Yeah, I seen that.
Like it's crazy. It's
For what reason?
crazy. It's yeah.
Why they
Like it's
why are they climbing milk crates?
because you can't like they're not making it over. So they're like crap. It's bad too. So they're getting to the top of the milk crate or
Yeah, the
almost to the
middle one.
top. Yeah. So what they do is they stack milk crates in a triangle, and then they have people climb over the triangle, right? So when they make it to the top of the triangle, the milk crates like fall, and they fall too.
Oh, that's
And in
horrible.
the first one is hilarious. Then you get to the eighth one, and it's like, oh man, what are we doing? What is going on?
Right. How
With
many minutes have you spent looking at
yep,
crackheads crawl, climb milk
That's
crate?
that's one of the things that concerns me the most about where we're at. Right. I always question the media. Right. The media bothers me. It concerns me. But what I always wonder is what's really happening.
Right.
Right. What's really happening behind the news that's not being shared. You know what I'm saying? Like with the COVID stuff, like when they push the things that they do, right? The way as hard as they do, what's happening, right? And the economy is changing, right? If you're not paying attention, like the economy is changing, the world is changing, and somebody's driving this change, right? Whether COVID or not, this change is being driven, and like we don't know what's happening.
Right. Why are Elon Musk and Bezos trying so hard to go into space? What's going
You
on?
can, you can keep that one.
I mean,
I'm
yeah, but I
I'm
mean,
okay.
you
I'm
know,
okay with that being a mystery.
yeah. But I'm saying it's just kind of like the what's not being said, what's not being
Right,
put
right.
out,
What do they know that we don't know?
right? Or what are they planning, you know?
Right.
And I
well,
mean, even with like I saw a headline last week of 4 teachers die of COVID in Florida. Like when school starts back, 4 teachers died. That's that quick. I didn't read it all, whatever. But even still, okay, so you still pushing, go back to school. My faith, and I mean, I went to my daughter's school and try. Every time I go to the school, I lose more faith in the public education system just by the people that work there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really, these are the adults that I send my kid to learn from every day. I'd rather keep my kid at school, just no COVID or not. I just rather you just stay at home and read and do your own thing, because it's just it's horrible.
If you're not gonna be smart, just be smart. Be not smart at home.
Right,
Well, I've come to the conclusion that school really doesn't matter. Like school, I send my kid to school to like build social relationships.
right,
But you know what's great? Nobody ever asked what grade you made in high school.
right,
Nobody asked your grades in college. Nobody cares. And to be honest with you,
Good point.
I don't think college degrees are going to matter in the next 5 to 10 years.
I don't
Do
think
they
they
matter now?
ever mattered, but
I don't. Well,
No, they used to matter, but I mean,
they
I
used to
don't
matter.
think they matter much now. They used
They
to.
they really don't. They really
They
don't.
don't.
Like you might have. Here's what's crazy. You might have a situation where they say the minimum requirement is this to have this degree, but then
Hmm.
believe me, I know. And then I get in the room in a job and find out the person that's beside me don't even have that.
right,
Listen, even the ones that got it, you know what I mean? I'll be like, you can't have a degree based on
right,
how you talking to me and
right,
what you know, what you know and
right,
don't know. There's no way you have a degree.
right. I mean, and that's the education system, because, like I said, as far as the foundation, or if you go way back in history, and how it should be, like people, back in the day, kids dropped out of school third, fourth grade. They couldn't read or write. They kind of go home and help on the farm, help on this, help on that, you know. But in the end, they learn a trade. They learn how to run this thing. They learn how to do it, and the work gets done. And you end up being, having land, having resources of your own that you kept in your family. So instead of sitting in school learning algebra 1, 2, literature, the same old thing. You know what I'm saying? Even going to college, writing this essay. I'm like, I'm just, why am I writing so many essays? Why am I keep writing? When are you gonna start to teach me the trade? Teach me business for real. Take like you get in there, put you next to somebody that's running a business and let you learn. That's how
I
you
think.
learn. That's what it should
Well,
be. That's what education should really be, not
I
sitting in the
think.
classroom.
I think. I think. I think we push like our form of education a little bit too much, but I think it still plays a role, right? Because I can think of moments from time to time where some bullshit I thought that they was feeding me didn't matter, and then it clicks at some point in time. And,
Hmm.
it's all a building block. So I don't think it's completely unnecessary. I don't think we need to forego completely what we have. I think we need to
Right, combine
add
it.
to it.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Add to it. You know, I think. Right. Well. For one, I agree with what you're saying. For me, I take execution over knowledge any day of the week. I don't care what you don't know or know. Right. As long as if I give you a task and you can execute it, I take you over a genius any day. Right. I hate these people that be like trying to talk about every step or every little thing. Just get the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just get execution over everything for me. But I think we need to. I think as a society, I feel like we need to stop letting people lie to themselves. I'm tired of the positive sell yourself uh, season or generation. Like if one more person meets me, if I meet one more person and they start giving me their resume, right, or trying to do the positive affirmations to me, like you can self-affirm to yourself what you feel that you can do, right? For me, you need to prove that shit,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Like I need you to be honest, right? I'm tired of people that have no business being entrepreneurs trying to be entrepreneurs.
Right. It's not for everybody. So we got to have some workers out here. We got to have, different things. Just find your thing, and it's okay for that to be your thing.
You know,
Even that, man, I'm starting to look like I try to pay attention where the automation is happening. Like if you've been to McDonald's lately and you pull up and they say, "Have you did you order on your app
yeah,
on the phone?" like it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like the automation is happening, or just like I don't know if you guys saw it, but was it Elon that just came out with robots, or was it?
He put out an article. I saw an article about him saying that they're gonna start creating robots to do was it mindless tasks or uncomplicated tasks.
Like it's
But
just
there's a cost to that. There's a cost to that, right? There's a cost to our society for that.
I just see it happening, man. I see it happening. I don't see like I just don't see this next generation being able to catch it. And I don't see like I just don't see it. Like I just think we worried about the wrong thing. I think we worried about like the whole like the little baby thing that happened a couple weeks ago. I know, y'all might not be paying attention, but I just sit at the
Which
house.
one?
So little baby said something, man. He said some things that he shouldn't have said.
Oh yeah, at the concert.
Yeah, but for them to say, okay, you can't make money no more. You can't make any money no more. We're gonna take this away from you, and everybody's like, okay. Or even right now with the situation where the Taliban leader has a Twitter, but
What?
our former president doesn't have a Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the leader of Taliban who just took out uh, just took out Rome. Like we're the great empire of this era of this time of this era. He just
Mm-hmm.
took it out. If you don't think recruiting, if you don't think all the people that follow that religion is gonna go to that army, then we're naive.
Right. What do you think that's all about as far as this now that we pulled out, Taliban takes over?
I mean, I think we should have left. I think we should have left, but I think it was more. I mean, I think we should have left. But you gotta
We should we
understand,
should we
like,
should, we should we have left a long time ago
um,
or now? Or why are we leaving now?
and that's the thing I can't figure out because we evacuated our embassy. China's embassy is still there. Nobody's bothering it. Russia's embassy is still there. Nobody's bothering it. So I don't know what happened, but there's other countries' embassies that's sitting in that country and nobody's bothering it. Nobody's touching them. So what? Like, why is it that we're just leaving as far? I mean, it couldn't be that it couldn't be that we're scared. It couldn't be that we don't have the resources. Um, I do think it's time for us to pull out. I just don't think there's ever a time where you could go to war and then you could pull out without like you gotta think about it. The reason we're in Germany is what? Because we went over there during war. We have bases in Japan, we have bases in Germany. We have
Yeah.
bases, we established bases and footholds because of conflicts that we were in. Do I think it is a very do I think it's strategic to stay in countries? Yeah. Is it safe to stay in Afghanistan? Do we need to be there? Maybe not, but I think that was a strategic stronghold to launch out of. You can launch out of Afghanistan and have you can have Afghanistan, Japan, and Guam as options to launch out of. Then I think that's more strategic than now we only got Japan and Guam or certain things like that.
Yeah.
But do I think from a standpoint of do we need to be there in that culture with those people? I didn't think we need to be there for that. I mean, because
Right.
that's
We didn't need to be doing the things that we were doing for
yeah.
as
Well, it
long as we were doing them.
seems like the way we was doing it was obviously not effective, not not the right way to do it.
Right. And as far as, we know military planning and, going back to the drawing board, it goes, it's like, okay, so once you see, okay, how long, they always talk about making things sustainable. You know what I'm saying? For the first, it had to be like a 5-year plan. Oh, we're going to sit here and train these troops for 5 years. Then we're going to draw back. Then we're going to do this. Like those plans that, fluctuated, either took place or didn't. But it's been so long, so I know they're kind of like, oh, why we've had people over there, we've been losing Americans in that area over this amount of years to some degree or another, and it's just been little small skirmishes, little things here and there. But I guess maybe they come to the point of, okay, we're going to pull out because in the grand scheme of things, we don't want to keep pouring resources or keep our people dying over there or whatever, for this reason, trying to uphold this country like we are. So then we pull out, and then the Taliban takes over, and now people are like, oh, pray for Afghanistan and pray for, and it's bad, and you don't want to see it, but at the same time, it's kind of like that's their country, and what is our interest? Why do we care? At the end
I
of the
don't.
day,
Yeah, I don't think we cared. I think we were there for money. You gotta understand, from prison industrial complex to military industrial complex to the school,
right,
colleges are businesses now. So
right,
we weren't over there to love people and bring people together. We were over there to extract resources,
right,
to mine resources, be it
right,
lithium, opium, whatever. We were there to get what we can get out of the
right.
situation. I don't know what's going on now where we're like, hey, we got to head out. But I would
Maybe
not
it's
be
like you said. Do you
surprised.
think it might be just another? I mean, like, okay, if we do, we know they're gonna take over. I mean, somebody had to foresee, somebody had to know that there's a possibility. Somebody knew. They ain't dumb. That as soon as we pull out, the Taliban is gonna take over. It's gonna build up to another thing, and which is going to generate probably another war or another reason to even come back even harder, or whatever it is, which is going to generate even more income or money for whoever's at the top.
Well, I think that was the plan. I think because if you remember, Trump signed a peace deal with him. But I think the agreement was, if you guys just chill the hell out, we're gonna pull out and you guys can have it. So I think it was their intention to like go back in. That's why I don't think any shots was fired. You gotta think
Right,
about it. No shots was fired. They just kind of, as we were leaving, they were just kind of following them behind us, and it was like, all right, we're here. Even
right.
like a couple days before,
Like when the club closed and the bouncer just like, all right,
yeah,
you go ahead, all right,
even a
get
couple
on
days
out.
before, the president that was president at the time, got on the helicopter, took some money, took some resources, and if you think about it, even if you look at the takeover, it's kind of funny because like you see like the Taliban working out in the gym or dancing around listening to Drake and stuff. It's kind of hilarious. My only thing with it is I never thought like we would have Americans trapped in the country.
Right,
Like we would make sure they were out before anything like happened. But you're right. It's their country, man. It's what
right,
they're supposed. Like even the whole Taliban and the Sharia law and stuff. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow that religion, but it's my understanding that's what they've been doing for years before
right,
we even got there. So it's
right.
their
And I mean, I
business,
feel
man.
like in the beginning of this, that's a big part of. I feel like American government's way of thinking is okay, because they always want to go in and they want to put in a democracy in countries that might not have ever been a democracy or do whatever, like establish our way of thinking, our way of life in somewhere else. But
Yeah.
you're not really looking into the psychology of this culture and the history and just how it is and how they just never gonna we might play along, but we never really gonna subscribe to what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it's just how it's becoming more realistic. You know what I'm saying? And now, like you said, there's other embassies, there's other countries who have an embassy there who aren't being touched. People who have been I mean, even when they have been allies for us for so long because we were so quote unquote on the top because we
Hmm.
were able to hustle and play this and play this and whatever, because at the end, like, really, what does America have that we offer people? Nothing. We get imports. We get our coffee, spices, you know what I'm saying? We got a few farms, a few things, a few here, there, but most of the stuff that we like, we get from somebody else. And so what do
Yeah.
we give those people? We've been giving them some protection, some of this, some that. But okay, now we seeing China's building up. They can do that for us. China, you know what I'm saying? They being quiet, buying up resources, buying this, buying that. Russia, they can do this for us. This country can do. They can do the same thing. I go do business over here. Why should I keep doing business with you? You know, when you falling, or the value of the dollar ain't even what it used to be. This ain't as valuable as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? And so why should we continue to go along when if I joined up with this side, or if I gave my allegiance to this one, then what are you really going to do, America? What are you really going to do? We're going to call your bluff. Like you said, that they said the ISIS is outside the airport. Just, there's people out there that are hungry. You know what I'm saying? And if you've been eating all these years, somebody gonna come for you. So what's gonna be our next Hiroshima, our next Pearl Harbor, to where we, are we gonna have to do something that drastic again to maintain America?
I don't like. It's well known that we don't have any resources. We don't have anything to offer people. We don't really have any gold. We do have oil, but it's not enough to feed the world. We have no natural resources that gives us that makes us a rich country.
A
Like
bargaining chip.
based on our resources. But we do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we do have this. I think the freedom thing is a real thing in America.
Yeah.
I think the ability for you to live whatever life you want to live is our only bargaining chip. Where we you know what, you can come here and be whatever religion you want. You can be whatever you want. The problem is even that's falling apart because you can't be whatever you want anymore. You can be whatever you want behind closed doors, but if you say the wrong thing, you gesture the wrong thing, you insult the wrong person, or you do something that the population doesn't agree with, then you start getting canceled. You start why would they look at us and be like, oh, they're strong when we allow people to burn our own flag in the streets? Like we allow ourselves to be torn down from the inside. Like right now, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, the cops must have stopped shooting black people because I haven't heard about a black person getting shot since Biden swore in. They must have stopped killing us. Or just like when I went to the store and I looked at the butter and they took the Native American lady off, or they changed they took Aunt Mama off and just made it like some company name. Like all those things, what does that matter? Like what did that do for us? What did that help? I don't know. I think what we have to offer is not even a good thing anymore. Because they're like, hey, if I go to this country, if I say the wrong thing, my life's gonna be taken apart. I mean, I still think we bad. I still think we'll fuck you up. But I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, at this point, I don't know, man. I don't even know. I don't even know. I just don't know. Even the military is starting to get woke. Like
Why you
you
say
have
that?
to have a strong military. You have to have a whole bunch of people that are brainwashed and ate up to go do stupid stuff. Like we were all ate up. Yeah, think about it. We were all ate up. Like I remember, I was my first 6 years. I was in Towsea teams in Charleston doing bear based deployments and stuff. Couldn't wait to become a Raven. Oh, I can't wait to pass my CDCs and get my 5 level and make CM so I can go be
Right.
Raven and go sit in the airstrip in Africa and do nothing. Like I ate it up.
Right.
And now you got this culture. Now you got this military culture that's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like
Yeah.
so now we're in trouble. If you don't have a bunch of stupid people like we were when we were airmen, ready to go do some stupid stuff, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Because there are other people out there willing to do that and more that are, that'll still have what we had back then.
I don't know. Maybe there can be a benefit to this wokeness.
What's the benefit?
Because you're right. Because yeah, it's nice to have some brainwashed people doing these things. But what if somehow, some way, you were able to get these woke people to still be willing to do these things?
How are you supposed to do that if they woke? How are you gonna get a
Yeah,
woke
they
person
will.
to be willing to do what you was how? I mean, you gotta, or just going back to the, you know, I guess the thing, whether you woke or not, the thing that you can agree on is to protect home. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? If you want to protect home, regardless of how woke you are, or whatever it is. But
Yeah, because
even
I never felt like I was like a brainwashed troop. You know what
no,
I'm
no,
saying? Like
right,
you know what I'm saying? However, I will say, like I know, like when I went to Iraq, right, and I did detainee ops, I worked at Buka, right. I was proud to say, I was proud to know that my family never had to deal with some shit like this, right? Like to know that regardless of the reasons that this government sent me out here, right? I'm glad that it ain't at home. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So if you can get a a group of people who understand that it's imperfect, you know what I mean, or and have that, like the brother sister mentality, right? Your brother, your sister say some fucked up shit to somebody, you still not going to let them get you know what I mean, get messed up. Like
right,
you still got to protect them.
right,
So like there may be some benefits to it because this unwoke military did cause a lot of trauma outside of war too.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it caused a lot of trauma to some of these people, right? These
right.
troops, the way they mistreat people, like it's so
Well,
I don't know because
I,
I mean
I
I felt like I was a good troop, but I wasn't brainwashed. Fuck out of here.
Right,
I ain't doing that dumb shit.
right,
when I look back, I realize how much I was brainwashed because I'm like, I really stayed in that long and got paid that amount of money to go do that. To
but
go,
I don't know. Did they? I mean, at the point in time, a lot of times it coming from where you come from, going and seeing, comparing, because if you, I feel like even though you might have not had planned that day, like I went home this past weekend, and I was talking to one of my little cousins, and my little cousin, he been in and out, he went the thug route, pretty much the street route or whatever, you know, or whatever level it is where I'm from. He told me that I took the safe route, you know, and I'm like, why do you say I took the safe route? Because I told him at an early age, regardless of whatever, I saw what level the adults and people that I looked up to around where I was from, I saw where they made it to. And I saw how they fluctuated. I saw the opportunities that either came or didn't. I was blessed to go outside, go outside and see, hey, there's better opportunities out here somewhere, somehow. And initially, I tried to get there by myself. I tried to go to school, you know what I'm saying? But nobody ever was going to school and knew the way, you know what I'm saying? I was in my 20s, the discipline or whatever. I want to hang out late. Got class in the morning. I'm not going to class. Bam, bam, bam. I'm fucking up. You know what I'm saying? But in my heart of hearts, I'm not a fuck up. I know I want to be better than this. This is if I keep continuing on this way, it's going to take me longer to try to figure this thing out by myself. So how can I bottle this all up and kind of have some stability or whatever? Okay, I guess the military. They'll give me travel. They'll give me a place to stay. I'll get a check. I ain't, education, whatever, whatever. It wasn't really about being patriotic. It wasn't really about me knowing exactly how it was going to work out because I did not come in. I didn't go down the MEPS. I didn't sign that dotted line saying I'm gonna make a 20-year career out of this.
Mm.
What's the first? How much I got to do? 4 years. All right. This first 4 years, I'm gonna see how that goes. Come the end of 4 years, I'm getting a divorce. I'm deployed. They offered us a re-enlistment bonus, whatever. I wanted a medical job. They made me a cop. This ain't even what I want to be doing. This ain't what I chose. This kind of like this. I made a decision. This is what they gave me, so I rolled with it. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm getting a divorce. I can't really see myself getting out right now. I wanted to go to school. Like you said, they done fed me. Oh, Newton, you good. Go get certified for this, get certified, get this operator, go do contending warrior, go do this, go do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm eating it all up because I'm having fun, I'm getting paid. I got a steady paycheck, first and 15th. life, I ain't struggling no more. I ain't scraping up change no more. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. I had, got married, whatever. Now I'm getting divorced. So, all right, okay, reenlistment bonus is what? Okay, if you reenlist for 4, you get this amount. But if you reenlist for 6, it's a little bit more. All right, well, I might as well do it. You still on mute, P. I might as well just do it.
But I think, like, based on how you're breaking it down, right? Like, it seems as if there's a level of brainwashing that's required to do just about anything, right?
Right.
I mean, you look at the streets, right? The logic that you get when you talk to street folks, right? Some of that shit don't make sense.
It don't.
You
A
know
lot of
what I
it don't.
mean? So,
Especially that.
and
I
then
mean, like
like
I said,
you
I
you
understand
you
why
can
you said
say
I took
you
the
can say
safe
the
route.
same you can say the same for like working a job, right? There's certain jobs where like you're looking around like this just don't make no sense.
Right. I mean,
So
okay, I told him, I said, I understand why you say I took the safe route. Because after 20 years of doing what I did, I got a pension, a check, or whatever. But after 20 years of doing what you did, you still got to do more of what you've been doing this whole time to maintain and whatever. So I understand that's how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, how somebody that's still living at home with your mom telling me I played it safe? You never left the house. You ain't, like I if you in the streets, you get a choice of what fight you want to fight. You get a choice of I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that.
yeah,
A lot of the times, if you start a beef with somebody, if you got a beef with somebody, I'm strapped. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna do that. Me, hey, I know my deployment rotation. I might be going here. I might be going there. But really, they picking the fights that I get involved in. I might come back, I might not. But my fight ain't
hmm
even necessarily my fight. I might not even really want to go over here and fight these people, even though I ain't like literally, you know what I'm saying? But I could. This ain't what I chose to do. I got a daughter back home. I gotta leave her. I got this, I got that. I gotta leave her. I gotta sacrifice time with family, raising my kids, doing whatever I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So even though we got parallels, but you cannot say that I took the safe route because or made the safe choice because I just made a choice. I didn't. It wasn't safe, and it just came out the way that it came out. Luckily, because I made it through. There's a lot of people I know that didn't make it through, just like there's a lot of people that didn't make it through. You know what I'm saying? There was times to where they tried to kick me out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm for what? I've been doing my job. I don't care how many people in the military. It don't matter if you got too many tech sergeants. What that got to do with me? I said I want to stay. So why do I need to write a letter to this dude back in saying every day y'all telling me, oh, sorry, new, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Now now I'm ranked number 11 in the squadron, and every other tech sergeant I look around at me ain't ain't doing no more than I do.
well,
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that. That as far as you saying, yeah, like there was a maybe in retrospect, it looked like, okay, man, why did I do that for so long? Or I had to be crazy. But at the same time, it got us like we can sit here comfortably now. And hey, the shit worked out to my
I,
advantage, and I'm about to use it for what I used it for. You know what I'm saying? I had to play
I
the
don't
game.
know.
Was I
I don't know if
brainwashed? Was I
I don't
just
know if
doing
I
what I had to
say
do to get by to make it to this point? Whether I knew how long it was going to last, or whether I knew it was going to go 4, 6, 10, 20, 15.
this is what I would say about the military. For the record, no, I do not miss the military.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. However, I do appreciate. I appreciate wholeheartedly what it has done for my life and for the man I've become today. Right, and it's crazy being in the civilian world. Still, you probably don't experience it as much because you're probably working with a bunch of prior military folks. But I'm sure even them have transitioned to that civilian mentality where like people really just don't give a fuck. Like they really don't give like there's no pride. Like it's very hard to find people who take pride in what they do, who take right being men and women of their word, right, seriously, right? Accountability doesn't exist. right? Like, and it just it's mind boggling at times. Like, are you serious? You know what I mean? So, like there's a level of execution that I can perform, right? And it's funny because for me, like I never felt like I was like the best at much of anything, right? You know, we get around some of these military folks and they run circles around us, right? And then you come back home and they're looking at you like you look at, you know, some spec ops guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like I'm
right,
looking
right,
at a spec ops guy and like this guy's, you know what I mean, like a human specimen, right? And you know, I still wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning to work out, but I ain't no I
right.
ain't no human
Ain't no Dave
specimen.
Goggins.
I ain't no, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, I just know what it takes to get the job done. And people looking like, man, you're crazy, man. You're doing like, nah, you just gotta do it. Like just go and do it. Like yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it sucks. Who cares? Just fucking do it.
Right.
But how is that life, Stu? Dealing with your prior
Well, I
military
only
folk.
deal. I only deal. It's only. I got two guys that I deal with that are prior military. That are one was a army guy. He got out for, but he got wounded. He's like a Purple Heart guy. And another one's another army guy that got out. And they got out and went to college and then came back in the civilian. Everybody else is like civilians. Like everybody else is civilians. That's why, like, when I got out, and I even tell people now, like, I talked to a guy that's a staff sergeant. He don't want to take the vaccine. He was like, I want to get out. He said, because I don't want to take it. And I told him, go. I said, you're at 10 years. You're not gonna stay 20, and nobody cares when you go. It's not a like when I'm sitting in like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your deployments. Nobody cares what you did or what you didn't do. It just doesn't matter. And like,
Right.
dude, when you were saying like somebody said like you went the safe route. Like I kind of see that now where it's like now that we made it to the end. Like I got friends and stuff that now like now we're in our 40s, mid 40s or whatever. Now it's like man, like now they see the fruits of your labor and it's like oh man, you had it easy. Like I've had people say you had it easy
Right.
when it was like you spent all these years smoking and partying and stuff. And I went places, and I'm not gonna ever say that I was in some Delta Force and some firefights. I'll never say that, but
Right.
I will say I've taken several human remain flights back home,
Right.
which is very eye opening. I will
Right.
say that we've lost team members in country. I will say,
Right.
like just last year, there was 6 people I knew that committed suicide last year.
Yep.
Mm.
6,
Yep.
and this has been a constant. My at least the last 10 years, I've seen 1 or 2 people,
And some of
commit
them ain't even
suicide.
past 30 years old.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of people from back home that, like, when I look at my lifetime, man, like, I lost my first friend who got shot at 12. Jamal. Jamal got shot at 12. I
I lost you.
Hold on, your
Still,
sound off.
still can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Ah, can't hear you.
I think he know. He trying to get it back up.
Oh, your AirPods probably died.
Let him get straight. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a big part of it. Like you said, I will never I did some things, and I did some things that on that side of, when I was enlisted, when I was active duty, I felt like I did some things that, according to their way of thinking, I should have gotten more appreciation for.
Right.
I didn't do those things for that appreciation. I didn't do that things for those recognition. But when recognition is being handed out, or when it comes time to crunch the numbers, and but I'm still kind of here asking questions of being looked at in the like I did it already. Why do I need to explain what I did? You back up?
Yeah, man, I had a phone call come in.
No worries.
No, what was I saying?
You're talking about looking at the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, so now at the end they can say, hey, you had it easy. But it's like you don't understand all those years. And then
Right.
with us, you gotta understand all like our divorces, our us losing our kids and custody battles and stuff. That's a real thing. Us the threat, man, I survived the Hunger Games. When was the Hunger Games? Like 2013, 2014, when they was cutting numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It was
always
tough,
that,
dude.
and especially with us and our medical board, our bodies breaking down. Like there's so many obstacles and struggles that we go through that nobody even sees. Nobody pay, and I think that's the bad thing is nobody pays attention. And
Right.
when I was saying earlier about context, like we're a very, very, very small piece of the population that have had the opportunity to go outside the country to other places other than like tourist areas and see how the world really behaves, see how the world really like likes us or hates us. So now we're back here with all this like information about what really goes on outside these borders, but we got a lot of people like even the woke culture that does not have any context of how the world works
Yeah.
and believes that there's justice around the world. There's no justice anywhere in the world. There's small little pockets of, and like even us, we live in a situation, we live in a society that we got some issues, we got to deal with some issues, but we can still prosper in this society.
Yeah. But you know what? But there's a lot of places like that though. Like I get that it's nice to you know be here. I mean, it seems a little bit more free than others, but right. I've been to Saudi Arabia, which is a pretty strict country, and there's a lot of expats over there loving life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? You go to UAE. You almost forget that it's a monarchy at how chill and laxed it is over there. So like, I mean, it really just depends. I mean, I
Right.
think it
It
really
comes
depends.
back
But I
to
but I agree. I think it's when people it's almost it's somewhat disheartening when people say you took the safe route or the easy route, right? Because they're only looking at the end result, right? Because you talked about the apparent things, that it's easy to identify that there's troubles, but right the other things about being a black man in the military without those threats,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like trying to make rank and do and be the leader or the person that you need to be, right? Like that in itself poses its own level of risk and threats and obstacles that like you're not you're not seeing it as much on the outside. And at least in the civilian life,
Right.
to a certain extent, you have a choice of where you work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have options to a certain extent. You may not like the options, but you may not like the option of having to leave the job, but you have those options. Like to be in the military and to be a part of one of those organizations with even if to see something wrong, right? Knowing that if you say something or try to do something, even if it's the right thing to do, you still have a price to pay,
Yeah.
right? There's still a cost, right? Whether directly or indirectly, there's still a cost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like so everything. So yeah, yeah, definitely not the safe or easy route,
Right.
but I say I'm happy with my decision to join the military.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think like I looked at the numbers, I couldn't find true numbers to give like true percentages. But to be a black man in the Air Force and make it to retirement,
It's like less than like 1%.
Really?
It's almost impossible. I mean, it ain't impossible for us because we know so many, but
Right.
based on populations and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta understand. Like when you add in like armed forces, Navy, Marine, especially Army with black people, but when you say Air Force, a black male making it to even like 1% of the military makes it to the end. To
Mm-hmm.
be a black male to make it to retirement, the numbers are so small based on populations.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your command leadership. Look at command leadership. Like
Yeah.
we're in 20, what was it, 2020, 2019, when we got our first black chief of staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, man.
Right. So I mean, it's kind of like that's another thing I feel like there's a lot of knowledge out there, whether it be I can't even say it's knowledge. There's a lot of information out there, you know what I'm saying? Because information can come in, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's knowledge. It doesn't necessarily mean it's facts. So, on the surface of things, people can look at it like, okay, well, you know, pretty much if a lot of people that look at it, and you might know another guy in your neighborhood who was in the their dad was in the military. They might have a house, they might have this, and a lot of times they're associated, oh, they was in the military, he did this, he did that. But like you said, you're not looking at the amount of people in the military, like the high suicide rate of people who are in the military, the high rate of homeless people who have been in the military, the fact of, how as sweet as it could be, you know what I'm saying? Like as sweet as it could be, I still, even when I come out and I've served. So if I say, hey, this is wrong with my back, then this is wrong with my back. I should not have to go back to all of these trying to prove and trying to fight, just trying to fight. There's a guy, a Vietnam vet, you know what I'm saying? He's still fighting for, to get Agent Orange contact or whatever it might be. Still VA appointments. He damn near 60 years old, all the way from back then, still
Hmm.
asking, still trying to get, still like, okay, where is the, I feel like where that you don't see that part, and it's you can it is what it is, but you've gone to serve that part, you've done that part of the job, and it's not as sweet, it's not as easy as you know as it may look to those people on the outside who don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Even taking a safe route, you go through the ranks, especially us. I've had to lead a team of 13, 14 people and care about them more than I could care about, my family at home. I had to be responsible for these people. If something went wrong with them, no
Hmm.
matter how minor or how major it was, they're gonna call me for that.
It's on you.
So that's a lot. That's a whole lot. And for us, I gotta come in here every day, give 18-year people from 18 to 45 a gun every day, not knowing what type they mental, what I'm saying? I gotta check their mental status. I gotta make sure they're doing this, and that every single day. And if I see one little thing, like the level of responsibility that we just took for granted. We took it for granted at that point in time, you know.
A lot of people in the civilian world don't understand that dynamic. They don't understand. A lot of don't understand that dynamic of leadership.
And that's just guard mount. Not to mention, when we walk out that door, I'm responsible for those planes over there. I'm responsible for that BX. I'm responsible for base housing. I'm responsible for every person who comes through this gate on my shift, pretty much,
Yeah,
all of that. And they ain't even got, this is Edwards. They ain't even got,
we ain't got no fence.
for real. Anybody can walk through this desert and come on this motherfucker anytime they want to. We got, anytime they want to. And if it goes down, who they gonna ask? Me.
Hmm.
That's the fun thing, man. I remember I used to go home, man, and I used to go home and everybody be like, "Man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, like, of what you're doing." Like, especially when I was young, man. Like, you went in, especially the older people. But now at this point, man, I got a lot of old friends that don't even really talk to me now because our lives are like went in different directions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and it's almost come off as like I've changed or whatever.
Right.
When it's like I'm trying to be consistent in how my life goes,
Right.
but your life is like frozen in time from
Right.
Right.
that period. So
Right.
it's like I look like I've changed when it's like I'm not changed. Like even our conversations are different.
Right. But me being at home, me having to go back home for a minute, I do realize there are elements of that stability that I kind of do long for. I do miss, because at times I do feel like a stranger, or I do feel like there's
Mm-hmm.
a bond that is kind of lost. But you know what I'm saying? I knew I had it before I left, but then I went away and stayed gone so long. Now when I come back, y'all look at me like I'm not familiar, but I'm trying to show y'all I'm still me.
Yeah.
Our conversation might be a little bit different. I care a lot about a little bit of things, but we can put this all together, and I can, there's things about that, it's not like I don't want you to be where I am. It's not even like I feel like I'm that far. This is just what I've learned, and this is just what it is. And in all actuality, I feel like you should know some of what I know too. Don't look at me like an outsider. Don't look at me like I'm all that. But just understand, hey, there's a level. There's some things you stuck on that I could probably help you out with.
No,
You know.
fuck that. Fuck that. Yes, I've changed. Yes, I have changed. Okay. Yeah, I do the same thing. Being home, it's a whole different dynamic, right? Because before I would just come visit. You come visit.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle
And you be out.
Eli's in town, brother. You know what I mean? But I'm here now. That means my life has to be right, like Stu said. My life has to be consistent with the life I've established for
Right.
myself. Right, being home, right, being around family, being around friends, right. No matter how I feel for you, love you, is not changing that.
Right.
Right, the fact that you feel like it should have, that's a problem with.
Mhm.
Right? I have a problem with it.
Right.
Right, if
Right.
you have a problem with me changing, right, we have been successful,
Right.
right, based on the experiences that we've had, right, and the changes and the growth that we've had. There's no way I'm going to come back home and undo
Right. Of course not.
all the growth and maturity. Like, nah,
No.
like we have been through some shit.
Right. I'm not going to
You know,
apologize for it. I'm not going to.
Stu was there when I got fired. Stu called me up like, "What did you do?"
Was I? Because y'all was all there when I got fired.
No,
All the multiple times I got fired. I
you
saved
you had called
everybody.
me up. You had called me up. You was like, "What'd you do?" He just called me, said, "I'm in charge."
Yeah. What? No, I think when I got fired, what did I think I went to your flight.
What did you get fired?
Huh?
What did you get fired? You didn't get fired.
I definitely got fired.
Yeah, the last.
My last night. Was it my last night?
I don't think it was your last night. It was built. There was a build up to the end, right?
I was already fired by the time you.
No, I got fired for an incident, but I think Newton, they just gave the flight to you, and you just let me off. You just said, "Hey, go do what you got to do," and then I just disappeared.
Right.
That's right. I was already fired by then, so I don't even know.
But I got fired. Man, I got fired for something stupid. I got fired for making a post change because somebody didn't show. You remember the South Base thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And one of the red end people didn't show up for guard mount, so I sent somebody out there to work an outside post because they didn't have to go in; they just outside until that person came in. And I got snitched on, man. I think it was an NCO that told on me.
And when stuff like that happens, I feel like there was already a buzz. There was already especially if it's an NC, somebody on your flight, like you talked to this one who talked to that one who was already had it out for me. So that's how you knew to call about this specific, because this ain't even that big of a deal. This is just that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I was on the brink of getting fired the whole time, man. I'm surprised. To this day, I'm surprised I made it to retirement.
Me too.
I am surprised because I was always, because it's pretty obvious that I had already checked out. You got to think about, I came into work, did garment, and then I sat around and just ran it all night, or just went to post and shot the shit, man. I wasn't out there like trying to change lives or stop crime or whatever.
I mean, but that's the funny part about it. You were changing lives in your ranting and your raving, right? In the gospel that you were preaching. I mean, I used to look for.
I think you
I
gave
used to have to call
you
you.
might have gave him
I
birth
used
to
to
this
have to
woke
pull you back in
military.
sometimes. Like, yo, you gotta chill. but
I,
but
shit, I've had the senior come in and say, "Shut up," like outright just say, "Shut up," because I'm like talking loud, and then I wait until you walk away and I start talking again. Because I'm like, come on, man, like what is this all about anymore? I'm so surprised, man. And then I mean to hear how many people to see that like Ping, you were saying, man, you were saying about you don't miss the military. I definitely don't miss anything about the military. I do miss the people, man.
yeah,
Like
I
oh
do.
my God, I miss like I didn't get a Facebook when I was in the military. I didn't have a Facebook, so when I got out, I made a Facebook like a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah,
So and I followed one person who followed everybody in the past. So I started. I just connect with one of the troops like a week ago. One of my troops from way back in the day, and he was like, "Man, I missed you. Like I remember we used to have our talks, and this is 12 years ago. I used to sit around and talk and just rant and stuff." And I realized how those relationships exist, man. The people, man. Like
because I
I
used to
miss
tell
that
people.
so much. But
I used to
but
tell
the
people.
job and the politics
Yeah,
of it, man, I hate it, man.
Yeah.
I
I
hate it
used to
so
tell
much.
people that those time taking the time to have those conversations, I believe was just as important as
Yeah.
doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's at those moments, right? Those conversations and those times where you're able to connect the dots between what they're doing, right? Why it makes sense, right? And where they should be trying to go. Right? If you just say go grab this gun, go guard the gate, and at no point in time, right, even after they figure out how it goes, and you're not over there like, all right, man, this is why this is important. Let me show you this, and let me tell you this, and forget why it's just important for the military or the United States. This is why it's important for you, right, as an individual, right? The discipline, right, the growth and maturity that having this job, like what it does for lives, it's impactful, right? And in the moment, you don't really understand it, right? As a kid, I didn't understand the impact of what I was doing. Right? I didn't understand how it was important for me or for anybody else around me. All right. So without those times, without those conversations, how do they get that? So those times, those moments were necessary. You know what I mean? And at that time, right? By the time you make tech or master, really, that's all you should be doing.
Yeah.
If your people running the way they supposed to be running, that's all you should be doing.
Yeah.
'Cause you shouldn't be doing no work.
Right.
if you doing work as a tech master or above, we in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
We in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. I miss those, and I used to be even before like doing the rant thing. Edwards was kind of the place I kind of quit at, man. But I remember, like, I was in Minot 9 years, man, and I used to sell. I used to every time I get a new cat, I say I got to build rapport with him, so I'm gonna go and talk to him
Hmm.
and have a real conversation with him, just like a sports conversation or something to bring his guard down because he's an airman. He's like got his guard up.
Yep.
Right.
And then I'm gonna give him ownership. Like I'm gonna give him ownership in the job. I'm gonna say we and us, so he thinks he's part of the team and give him ownership.
Hmm.
That way he cares about it.
Yep.
But by the time I got to errors, I realized that the people that were ranked over me never picked up those lessons. They were just going textbook. This is what the academy says leadership is, and I was like, that ain't real leadership.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
And that's when I was like, okay, this is it, man. I'm just gonna ride these
No.
next. And
I mean,
shoot, if it wasn't for Newton just saying, "Hey, man, just go ahead and take off," they would have probably found something else on me, man.
listen, you saw whenever I got a new troop, I wouldn't send them out the post for a few hours. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time. Oh, you remember? Oh, Joey Reagan was with me, and it was a new troop. After a while, if you're practicing, you got to have a few speeches like already tucked away. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, my indoctrination speech was on point. You know what I'm saying? So I go out, we go on a post visit. I got Joey Reagan with me, and I think somebody else is with me too. And this new troop, and I'm talking to him. Sometimes I start shaking. I'm like, hey, your post picture? No, I'm just playing. You good. but I talked to him for like a good 5-10 minutes, and Joey Reagan looked at me and was like, man, if somebody would have told me that speech when I was a young airman, I probably would have did much better.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, man, like if the first thing that you do for a person is send them to work without getting to know them, right? Understanding where they're at, why they're here, then the only expectation you can have is the relationship between them and that paycheck.
Yep.
That's it, right? If you want anything more, which in our line of work or the line of work that we were in, you have to be able to pull more,
Right.
right? You can't send. I always believe, sometimes I get a little biblical sometimes. You know what I mean? Even though I be cussing all the time, right? And there's a scripture that says, "No greater love has a man than one who would lay down his life for a friend." Right?
Right.
And for us in the job that we do, right, we can take that in the literal sense, right? As a cop, right, a correction officer, right, law enforcement, security, military, right? You send these troops out there and you put them on the line and you put their lives at risk. How is it that I can take the responsibility to put your life on the line, but not take the responsibility to take care of you as a person or a human being? I can't do it, right? And even with that statement, right, putting your life on the line, right, lay down your life for a friend. Me as the boss, my life is not on the line as much as the younger troops,
Right.
right? By the time I show up, the situation should be done. If I show up and the situation is still going, we're fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my version of putting my life on the line is going hard for you every day,
Right.
right? Making sure you're taken care of behind the scenes, right? I'm going into the senior's office to argue for 2 hours as to why my troop's not getting a decoration,
Right.
right? I'm going in there to make sure that my people are recognized and taken care of, right? No, I'm not calling Stu in on his day off to come sign his EPR. I don't care if it's late.
Mhm.
But even in that sense, that's in that sense, the way that you're putting on your life on the line is because you take those risks because you're not going to be that yes man or that company dude. You're going to hey, this might affect my promotion. This might affect the way the senior look at me. This might affect me long term. I mean, this might affect my retirement in the long run.
But I
But
can't be
you
more
got some
scared of that
people.
than my troop is for right. I can't be more scared of that than my troop is to go respond to an active shooter. If I can tell my troop go in that building because there's an active shooter, he's like, got it. Then shit, I'm gonna go the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and that's another part of it. I guess like you would talk about Stu that cookie cutter taught leadership that you know that's a baseline. I think that's good for informational purposes and kind of to. But if you don't have that compassion part, if you don't have that ability, like part of being a leader is to being able to think and being able to mold that and to be able to take that information and evolve into this person who can do it all. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for that. Okay, now I got to get in your ass. This is
Yeah.
what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a time and a place for that. And I feel like if you're that all the time, if you don't have those intro speeches, if you don't get to know that person before you want to send them out to post, if you're just not that approachable or that person, then you don't have earned respect. You don't have a mutual respect. People are going to respect your position. They're going to respect you as the tech or the master, whoever that you are. But at the end of the day, when you're not around, when you really need them to do something, they're not gonna,
Yeah.
they ain't gonna think about you like that. They're not gonna be like, hey, this is for I don't want to look bad. I don't want to make him look bad. I don't want to do this. Their whole mentality of, you know, and that's also because, especially I feel like the military lacked a lot of those types of people. So regardless of what base they go to, and when they become, hopefully, it's just kind of like the percentages. It ain't gonna be 100%, no matter what it is. We put something out there, you know, we got however many people. You're gonna have a small percentage of people who catch it, and they eventually become better leaders. And that seed that you planted, and that way of leadership that you instilled in them, that whatever they saw in you goes on for generation to generation to generation, whether we hear about it, whether we know about it or not. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, a lot of times you do get an email or you do get a shout out from a troop that you had, or just in the way, like you said, after 12 years, they hit you up like, hey man, I remember this, I remember that. And then you can like, wow, I didn't even know I had that effect. I didn't really know it mattered, that much. And that makes you feel good. But even if you don't get that, keep just being the person that you are has that long-term effect,
But
on people.
very, very rarely do you get to actually see firsthand the impact.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people themselves won't be able to connect the dots.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that can't connect the dots. Like for example, when you have somebody, I used to make my flight to open ranks. Right? I used to make my flight to open ranks. Not because I was a by the book strict person, because I understood that when it came to standards, I'd rather be proactive than reactive, right?
Right.
It's so much easier to get the flight to stay on point if they know every first day of the cycle he gonna come through it and do open ranks and like make sure, right? Versus catching somebody and writing them an LOC. 'Cause I'm not
Right.
about that life anyway, right? And when initially my NCOs, they weren't very happy because I made them do it, right? I made
Right.
them do the open ranks, and I would be the inspecting official, right? And one of the troops they went to 7 level. They went to 7 level, and 7 level does open ranks as well, right? And they said when they was over there, none of these cats knew how to do open ranks, but they knew how,
Yeah.
right? So when they came back, right, they were appreciative and was like, "So I appreciate these cats ain't right?" They didn't come back thankful, but in my head, I know, yeah, because I make your ass do open ranks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of the impact, the positive impact you have, people won't even recognize. They won't even know themselves. So you as a leader have to understand that it's not about doing what's popular, it's about doing what's necessary. And a lot of times it's uncomfortable. That's why they say it's a lonely road. That's why we had the flight chief's office. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's why we got
We the only ones that understood each other.
it. Man, yeah.
Yeah, so hey, some of my favorite moments in the flight chief's office would be like changeover, like watching other flights deal with their troops.
Right.
We gotta get Luke on there. Me and Luke would give each other shit all the time. Like, hey, you gonna let your troop talk to you like that, man?
Yeah, I used to just wait till everybody leaves. Once everybody was gone, let's talk some shit for the next 3 hours. Next 3 hours, let's argue about something. Let's make who is it? Let's make Luster uncomfortable.
That wasn't very hard though.
I used to make him uncomfortable. He used to be like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you can say that."
Yeah, I could see it.
I made him so.
Luster he's still out there, man. He's still doing the same thing.
Yeah, I couldn't crack him though. I could never get him to talk to me, man.
Yeah, he was a hard nut to crack.
Listen, Luster scared me.
Yeah.
It was around the time when he was getting done, right? I was running ops, and one of the flight chiefs, he come to me, new cat, he had just PCS there. He's like, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, Luster's scaring the troops. He said he's scaring the troops. I said, he's like he's not okay. I was like, actually, he's fine. Actually, we've already been through all that. They cleared him. He's good to go.
I didn't mind because I was like, he's gonna stay in the office and do some paperwork or do something. He never wanted to
He
go
was
out. So I was like, all
horrible at
right, cool.
paperwork.
Because
He was horrible at paperwork.
because I'll be at the gate all night. Like if something happens, call me. But
Right.
Do you remember? I want to say you was there, Stu. There was an alarm. There was an alarm, and human error. You got to get a statement,
mhm.
right? And it's the end of the shift, and I'm like, yo, where's the statement for that alarm? And like, Raglan has it, right? And he's like, oh, it's in the car. He brought me in like a crumpled up statement, and then started writing on it.
Was it
Like
a Q&A or?
no, I think he forgot to sign it.
Oh,
And I'm like, yo, I'm like, are you giving me this? And he looked at me straight face like, what's the problem? Right?
you got to go out and get another statement. That's the problem.
Right? And I'm like, right? And I'm looking at everybody because in my head, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared.
Right.
Buster don't look like he don't look like a motherfucker to be playing with. Like he used to come in, remember we used to at the gym, he come in with his M4 on, putting up 225 like it was nothing. Man, I cussed him the fuck out. Like, go give me another statement, man.
Like I think me just being naive is why I didn't really fear him. Had I known he was from Detroit, I would have been a little more scared. But I didn't know, so I was like, I don't know where he's from, but I ain't scared. Had I known he was from Detroit, man, I wouldn't have just been so lax.
Yeah. So
No.
off guard.
I was like, he ain't
man,
gonna do nothing. He's too quiet.
listen, but I'm in the room like I'm scared, but I can't let this motherfucker punk me in front of everybody
Right.
like this.
Right.
So I had to cuss him out. Go change this shit, man. Go
To be honest with you,
then I'm like, then you writing on this shit? You signing it?
Right.
5 hours later?
to be honest with you, man, I was like, he's the one that's gonna turn me in. But he never did. He never did. It was others.
Yeah, he was
He's a
minding his
solid.
own business. He would
He's a
just,
solid dude.
he'd just be quiet and do whatever,
He's a solid dude.
Yeah.
Erwin Bush done made senior, right?
He did.
Erwin Bush is a senior mascot.
Oh yeah.
I think I seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I thought I'd never see.
His crazy ass.
I don't know. I didn't work with him enough to know.
Oh, that dude's nuts. But he's smart though. He was really smart.
Yeah.
But
He was. I think I worked with him. First, I was with Lansdowne for a little bit, and then they put me with Bush.
Oh, yes. That's right. Man.
But I appreciate y'all making time, fellas. We've been on here about an hour and 40 something minutes. We got some good topics. We talked about the vaccine, talked about military in Kabul, Afghanistan type stuff. And just as if you're watching it, no matter what time you're watching it, just keep that in mind. I think that's the most important message. Instead of being divided, looking at people crazy, whether they choose to take the vaccine, whether they choose not to, whatever comes about, let that be that person's decision. Stop. Let's just stop all the separation and respect respect other people's opinions, respect other people's choices, especially if it's not something that affects you. You know what I'm saying? Most of the stuff doesn't even affect. It don't affect you. If it don't bother you, and they'll say, okay, well, it's to make the community safe, and I get that, but at the same time, like, if you got it, then you did that to protect yourself. That's protecting you. You know what I'm saying? The virus is going to be out there regardless. It's going to be in the air regardless. So just leave people alone, and we'll all get along a lot better, I feel. Any last words, P?
I mean, it's along the same lines, man. It's important to focus on what brings us together versus what divides us. I think we look at each other's differences and we either get threatened or scared, and I think it's the differences and those little quirky, unique things that's what makes us special in the first place. So Yeah, definitely focus on what brings us together instead of focusing on what divides us.
Stu?
Um, I definitely think a shift is happening. Um, be it a spiritual shift or a physical shift. I just say everybody take care of yourself and kind of pay attention to what's going on because I think things are going on. We just don't know it yet, but
Right,
just pay attention.
right. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Well, hopefully we'll be bringing y'all more episodes, more live streams, more. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about it. Uh, P got a logo for us. We're gonna build it up. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna check that out, and we'll be at y'all the next time. So until then, it's been the Flight Chief's office. You know what I'm saying, we out.